What's up, JEFusion fans? This is Philip and welcome back to another video. So we are finally reviewing Ohsama Sentai Kingohger episode 1. Now, to be honest, I haven't watched the show on TV. I actually saw it on YouTube because Toei posted the first episode. I wasn't able to watch it live or on real time because I was actually outside busy with my training. So I was only able to watch Kingohger when I got back home. And I also wanted to prioritize my upload for the deluxe Ohger Calibur. So if you guys haven't seen it yet, I'm going to link it down in the description. Okay? Now, with that said, I would also would like to place some minor spoilers because I wanted to talk about some of the events in the show, but I will try to, as much as possible, leave out any important events that are gonna be really spoilerific, if that makes sense. But with that said, let's move on with the video. So, anyways, the show starts with a legend that spans 2,000 years. So 2,000 years ago, there were 5 heroes who wielded the power of the Ohger Caliburs in order to defeat the Bagnarak Empire and seal them underground. These heroes would later become kings that would be founders of their respective countries. However, it was also said in the legend that after these 2,000 years, the Bagnarak Empire will come back for their revenge. So, we later see all of the kings gather at Shigodam because it is said to be the first country that was formed, and it was home of the Shugods, or the mechs that the Kingohgers used. So, with that said, King Rakles Hasti has gathered all of the other kings to inform them that the time is at hand. The Bagnarak Empire is about to return, and it's time for the Kingohgers to stand together once again. However, someone had a complaint with King Rakles, and this ranger says, I don't buy this, I'm out. And for the rest of the show, so this Kingohger has been doing something else behind the scenes. Now, because of this, King Rakles's plan doesn't really go as, doesn't go the way he wanted. But now we shift our focus to probably our main character for this season, Gira. Now, Gira is, what appears to be an ordinary village boy, a teenage boy who lives probably somewhere in the outskirts of Shugodam, and he plays with the local children. But things happen. The Bagnarak come, they attack the kingdom, and of course, the village where Gira lives is also under attack and has been badly damaged. Of course, some other Kingohgers are, they actually transform and spring into action, but because one of them, or rather 2 of them actually, are not in action, so this causes Gira to do something unthinkable. So, again, after some things that have happened, I'm talking vaguely here to avoid spoilers, by the way. So, for some reason, Gira was able to get his hands on an Ohger Calibur, and he becomes our Kuwaga Ohger. So, he also is able to pilot the god Kuwaga, and even form the Kingohger mecha, and he saves the day by defeating the giant monster. So uh, everything should be hunky-dory until you realize that things are probably not going to be good for Gira. So this is where the episode ends. So I hope I'm not too vague on this either. But yeah, I don't want to spoil a lot. I still want you guys to enjoy watching Kingohger though. So anyways, now what do I think of the story of Kingohger so far, or at least for the first episode? Now, I do think this is a solid episode because like you start with the backstory right away. Like, so what happened? What kind of events would lead to, the story of King Ohger? So it does help that you do start with the legend of the original kings. And what is also important is the introduction of Gira, because again, he is basically our main character. Of course, we also see each of the other King Ogres being introduced, but again, there's definitely a lot of focus on Gira's background in this one, right? So it just makes sense, really. However, what I'm really impressed with is the extensive use of CG for this episode. Given that the world of the King Ogres is, for all intents and purposes, it's a different universe. It happens on a different planet, you might say. Well, it does look like Earth. The countries look different, the continents look different, and, well, again, it's not it's not usually done in a Super Sentai series to, explore a world that is not ours, exploring a planet that is not Earth. Although the name Chikyu is basically, the Japanese word for Earth, this Chikyu is written in katakana and not really the kanji, which is, again, the word for the planet Earth. But with that said, Toei has really been pushing the use of CGI technology even since, you know, Zenkaiger. But they do use it a lot with Dawn Brothers as well. But we are probably going to see a lot more CGI animation with King Ohger. Again, given that we are shown a completely we are completely shown, or we are shown a completely fantastical world, a world that is very much impossible, uh, with our reality. So the action I do find lacking with the other King Ogres. So there are only 3 King Ogres in action, aside from Gira, aka Kuaga Ogre. So there's a lot of focus actually on the mech battle. And we see again, so the King Ogre robot, by the way, in action, and it was okay. So, to sum it up, so the premise and introduction of characters and plot is easy to follow and understand, really. So nothing happens out of the blue or very suddenly, and the action is nice. The use of CGI is actually amazing, and there's a lot of concern from Super Sentai fans that this could break the bank, for King Ohger, because, as you might know, using CGI can be quite expensive, but maybe learning from Dawn Brothers, Toei may have found some way to, uh, you know, utilize CGI as much as possible, but in a way that does not get too costly. Uh, and I hope that's the case, because, this is probably the start of evolution for Super Sentai production, and we might expect more of CGI animated worlds in the future. And speaking of like worlds, the I think the only other Super Sentai that does not necessarily take place in the same universe as ours would be Q Ranger. If I remember correctly, their depiction of Earth, our Earth, is different. So basically, it is actually a different Earth because they don't have a Super Sentai. They don't have a Super Sentai to defend them, and the Q Rangers come from different planets, so they're not from Earth, right? So yeah, and of course, I gotta admit, so the King Ogres are swordsmen, and well, I love swords. What can I say? This is actually one of the reasons why I really, really wanted to get an Ohger Calibur, because it is a sword. And my favorite part of, I guess, my favorite part for the entirety of King Ohger would be Rita. I mean, God. Rita-sama, yes. So I wanted to see more of that, yes. So, yeah. Rita is definitely my favorite part of the series, hands down. Like, that's not gonna change one bit. But, again, just like Dawn Brothers, I think Super Sentai, or at least Toei, is focusing more on its characters. While we do have a main character in the form of Gira, I think the production is also trying to push each character so that they would also stand out. Again, in Dawn Brothers, like, yes, you have Don Momotaro as basically, the center of the team, but you actually have what's supposedly a different main character in the form of Oni's sister. And the other characters, like, it is a completely character focused show. Like, even the Noto have their own defining moments, like, Sono is rivalry with Don Momotaro, Sonoza being Haruka's editor-in-chief, and Sononi falling in love with Tsubasa, and even later villains like Sonoshi, Sonogo, and Sonoroku have, even for their short or limited appearances, they have made an impact. So, again, I'm expecting the same thing with King Ohger. So, while we do have a basic plot of, again, the King Ogres, fighting against the Bagnarak Empire, so we also see a lot of character focused moments, or at least we should expect a lot of character focused moments, because everyone is a king, everyone is a star, everyone has their leading roles. I guess that's actually how the show has been marketed even before the start, right? So actually, so if I were to give King Ohger a rating, I am actually going to give it a 5 out of 5. So it's not really like, wow, it's amazing, but because it is easy to follow, like, you have a potentially great cast of characters. The use of CGI is actually really good in this one. Uh, the action, it is sword centric season, so uh, I do have a bias, and Rita Sama is my favorite character. So with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think of King Ohger in the comments, especially if you've seen it already. So actually, for this outro, I am I do find that this sword is going to be useful. So here it goes. So anyways, thank you so much for watching. So make sure you do leave a like, comment, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get the latest from JEFusion. I am keeping the sword in its... this sword is actually off, by the way. But anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye! Yeah, it's kind of a flex. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. See you next time.